Hello guys, today I'm doing something different again. I'm gonna be showing you guys one of my new characters. Yeah guys, I've been wanting to do these kinds of videos just to do a little showing of like my characters I've created. And this one's gonna be kinda cool because this is actually a killer I made for like horror movies. And I know it's not even close to October, let alone Halloween. But yeah, the reason why I'm doing this because I am trying to get more of my characters. Sorry, guys, my voice is a little cracky. But yeah, I do want to get more of my characters I created out. So enjoy this story. Careful discussion is advised, of course. Okay. Let's dive into the tale of Iron Skull. Iron Skull is not a man. Iron Skull is not girl. He is nothing, but he is existence. He doesn't. Okay, he's not existence, but I kind of went off track there, but he is what people be afraid of by non-believing. He is the sin punisher. He feeds off sin. He feeds off those who have the nerve to not believe, and to be greedy, and to have nothing but care for themselves by selfishness. Iron Skull has more kills than has killed more non-believers than he had believers. For those who don't believe in the punishment of sin. Iron Skull's story has no real story. No one knows where he came from, but all could be known is with this knife. This knife has an ancient text written on it, whoever holds it. If someone who has a selfish personality or is arrogant was to read the text, could only see the text on the knife. Those who are nice and kind and believing will not see the text, but those who not believe will see the text. And when they read it, you are a non-believer. Let the hunter hunt you. How stupid. The hunter will hunt you. After you read the document, a thought comes in your mind. A vision, almost. A vision just appears within your thoughts of your mind. And in that vision or dream, you will see an image horrific as this. You will see an image of the entity known as Iron Skull, chained up in a room. This is not confirmed to be his past, though, since almost every consideration of who's to have done this kinds of things have experienced different endeavors. And it's actually led to believe that those who read the diary themselves actually experience something that they experience of what they plan to do to someone in their future. Even in their future, they don't even know they're going to do that thing to a person in the future. So this man who read the dagger, which his name is Nicholas Crane. Nicholas was arrogant, selfish in his own ways. He didn't care for anyone, and he was a very tragically mad and bad father, a horrible husband, and a cheater to anyone who considered him their beloved. And when Nicholas read that dagger, he saw a glimpse of what was Ironhead, reliving his sin in his future. His sin was to chain up women and do whatever he wishes with them. And when you see this vision, when you saw his vision, Ironhead looked up and says, You believe in Ironhead, don't you? You believe in him. Obviously, Nicholas thought this was just a nightmare, or something he drank. But then But then the dreams started happening every so often. Heck, even sometimes when he falls asleep at work or when he's drunk. Even when he's drunk, he gets glimpses of this horrific dream. In fact, Nicholas started to get tormented from these horrible visions and dreams. He kept telling himself that it was just a dream, but that alone awoken his hunter, his punisher for his sins. You see, when you read the Iron Skull dagger, or the dagger of Iron Skull, you know one thing. The Iron Skull will hunt you for your sins. As if you, in another thing, his source of power is non-believing. Those who don't believe in Iron Skull only increases his physical strength and speed. For an entity man who weighs over 100, who weighs almost 90,000 pounds, he moves quickly. For those who don't believe in, and his strength only increases more you don't believe. Heck, if you were to say these words in a row, I don't believe in Iron Skull, his power will increase 100%. In fact, it was when Nicholas had enough, he wanted to do something he would deeply regret. You see, how Nicholas even got hold of the dagger is he got it from a pawn shop, or he stole it from a pawn shop, as I mean. In fact, he got so upset with these visions as soon as he started with this dagger, he did something he deeply regret. He smashed the dagger on the ground. The dagger broke in 100 pieces, and then his terror begun. Good riddance, he said, after he left while smashing the dagger. Then he started hearing really strong footsteps. Huh? Who's there? He said, startled. But no one was there. When he was just about to turn around, he heard it again. Then he said, "All right, whoever asshole is out there, you better." He saw his hunter, his punisher. He saw the Iron Skull. Nicholas Crane, you are to be punished for your sins. I am your punisher. You're Iron Skull. That can't be. You're not real. This isn't real. You're fake. You're not real. And then, and that only made Iron Skull chuckle a bit. Don't believe in the non-believing, huh? You should believe in the non-believing. As Iron Skull started to walk over towards him, each quake with every step only caused Nicholas to run. Nicholas ran as far as he can. And when he got far enough, he hid behind something. He turned around to look, and he thought he was safe. But then he looked to his right. Or his left, anyway. And there he was, the Iron Skull. Ah! He screamed. Iron Skull was getting closer to him. No. This isn't real. You're not real. I'm just hungover or drunk or something. I'm probably just dreaming. This is a dream. I'm dreaming. Iron Skull stopped. He looked at him, well, when he could look at him, with his face, with half his head covered with an iron, with a trap that looked like it was made of iron. Then he looked at the man with disbelief. At least that's what he could. At least that's what Nicholas thought. Then the Iron Skull decided to show him that he was definitely real. Do you believe now? This is your punishment for not believing. Look me in my eyes and tell me, do you still not believe?
I believe.
And when he said that exact words, was that so hard? Then Iron Skull looked at the shattered remains of his dagger. He lifted his hand. The pieces started floating and forming the dagger once more. Then Iron Skull proceeded to do this. Iron Skull looked at Nicholas, and Nicholas looked back. Nicholas was looking at him with obvious shock and fear. But then Iron Skull looked at him with belief. You have redeemed yourself from your sins. You have changed, Nicholas Crane. If you change, these actions won't be permanent. Just change who you are, and you'll be redeemed. The Iron Skull said. Iron Skull then proceeded to lift up his arm. When Nicholas was getting ready to run, for what stamina he had left, this happened. Iron Skull has dropped a penny-looking thing. Nicholas looked at him and said, "What's this?" That is a chance. Drop it within water, and you'll have your chance to become redeemed. Then Iron Skull turned around, and he walked until he couldn't exist anymore. As his journey as Nicholas's Punisher has ended. Ever since then, Nicholas has become a changed man. Obviously, he has used the penny, what he wished for, or what he wanted to be redeemed for, was everything. When Nicholas then started being better to people. He went back to his ex-wife, and he started loving his children. And then when all that, and it's happy to say, Nicholas has now become redeemed, and he now believes. That's what the story of Iron Skull is. Iron Skull is not evil or good. He simply torments those. He simply hunts those who don't believe, and those who are arrogant, and those who have committed sins. And he gets stronger the more you say you don't believe in him, or the more sins you have. Nicholas had many sins, but it was him saying that very word, "I don't believe in you, Iron Skull. I don't believe in Iron Skull," is what made Iron Skull come after him. And then when he said, "I believe in you, Iron Skull freed him from his hands, and he gifted him that chance. Because when Nicholas said that word, the Iron Skull known that he has changed, that he had some form of change. That's what the Iron Skull is. Iron Skull is the incarnate of redemption. He is not bad, he is not good. He is the incarnate of redemption. He hunts those with sin. He redeems those who realize their sins were bad. He is Iron Skull.